Kia ora team, Coach Ray here. I am a marathon running coach who specialises in coaching beginner and recreational athletes to achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. In today's short video, I'm going to take you through the Mount Manganui Half Marathon course guide. And I'm going to include a number of pacing tips depending on what your goal is, whether you're trying to go sub 2 hours, sub 1 hour 50, sub 140, or even a sub 130. So this video is for athletes running next weekend in Mount Manganui Half Marathon. You'll learn some course insights, some pacing advice, as well as some performance tips to optimize how you go on race day on Saturday. So let's have a quick look at the course. We start up here at the surf club. We basically run southeast all the way out, turn around, come all the way back in, and then round the mount to finish. There's a few key areas here with some aid stations scattered about the place. How many is there? 2, 4, 6 of them. Last one just before you head around the mount. And we'll use some of these as some guides later on. And also these public toilets here just before Yale Street. But I'll get into them a little bit later on. So to achieve your goals, you want some nice consistent effort. You don't want to sprint off at the start, burn yourself out, and fade massively through the event, meaning you struggle to the finish line. We want you to finish strong. And to do that, a conservative start is key, and build your pace throughout the event all the way to the finish line. And that's regardless of what time you're trying to achieve. I recommend my 1/3 pacing strategy. So the first 7 kilometers of the run is done at a steady pace. And that takes you through to those public toilets I just mentioned, just after the second aid station, before you turn down Yale Street. The second 7K of the course, you want to be running at a faster pace, and that'll take you through to the 5th aid station. So that second to last one before you get back to the start line. And that's just past Clyde Street. And then the final 7 kilometers, you want to be running at your fastest pace, finishing strong, getting all the way through to the finish line. Now, if you find yourself relatively fresh in the final few kilometers, increase your pace a bit more. See how quickly you can run. And so that's around the back of the mountain. Find somewhere and it's like, right, I'm about halfway around now. Let's see what I've got left. If you're already getting to the point where you're like, oh, I'm just hanging out to the finish, just keep trucking along at the same pace. But if you're feeling fresh, go for it. So for those that are trying to aim for a sub 2 hour performance, that's holding a pace of 5 minutes 41 per kilometre. I want you to stay nice and calm and steady throughout the event. Focus on your cadence, focus on a good tall posture. Don't start leaning forward and hunching your back. That's going to close off your airway. If you're nice and tall and upright, air gets into the lungs a whole lot easier, meaning everything goes a lot smoother for you. Run your own race. Don't get swept up with everyone going really fast at the outset. Aim for a nice consistent pace. In fact, aim for a pace of 5 minutes 50 per kilometre for those first 7 kilometres. Increase to 5 minutes 40 for that second third of the event. And then the final third, those final 7 kilometres, aim for 5:30 minutes per kilometre. For those of you wanting to go a bit quicker, sub 150, that's targeting 5 minutes and 12 seconds per kilometre the whole race long on average. Remember, we're going to start a little bit slower. We're not going to try and bank some time. We're going to stick to the goal paces and build that pace throughout. Stay strong through the aid stations. Grab yourself a drink when you need to and push on through. And watch for your pace drifting late in the race. So aim for 5 minutes 20 per kilometre for those opening 7Ks. The second or the middle 7 kilometres, aim for 5:10. And then the final 7 kilometres, aim for a nice round 5 minutes or quicker as you head for home. For those wanting to run a sub 140, that's 4 minutes 44 per kilometre. Need to stay nice and relaxed early on, holding a good rhythm. Use groups if possible. Find other runners a similar pace. Now, I don't think the Mount Manganui Half have got pace runners, but if they do, slot into that 140 group. But find other runners with similar goals. Focus for those last 5 kilometres. So as you're getting close to going around or back to the surf club, pick up that pace. Really focus. Be diligent on hitting those targets. So the first 7 kilometres, we want to be just under that 5 minutes per kilometre, sitting around that 4:55. That's going to be your key to make sure you hold yourself back for those opening 7Ks. Second 7 kilometers, aim for 4:45, and then the final 7 kilometers are 4:35 per kilometer. And for the racing snakes amongst you that are aiming for the 1:30, that's an average of 4:15 per kilometer, give or take. Have a nice controlled start. Strong through the middle and tough around the back of the mount to finish strong. I want you to try and surge, stepping up a gear, changing those gears as you go through each of those 7 kilometers. Really put that effort up and settle into that pace and just sit at that pace for those full 7 kilometers. Now, if you train and race with a heart rate monitor or power, as opposed to pace, have those dialed in. If you want a bit more guidance on those, flick us a quick message and we'll try and have a catch up before the race so I can give you some advice on how to dial those in for what is appropriate for you. But for those training with pace, those first 7 kilometers aim for 4 minutes 25 per K. The second or the middle 7 kilometers aim for 4:15, and those final 7 getting down close to 4 minutes per kilometer. 4:05 is what you need to be holding through those final 7Ks to get that 1:30. Prior to race day, I recommend a couple of things. One of them is my self-psych form. Print it out, or download it, print it out, and then use good old pen and paper. If the pen's going to show, there it is. Pen and paper to write your answers in. Develop your race plan. Do it the night before. Do it 2 nights out. It'll help you settle into your sleep easier. It's got your mind fresh. You've got the race plan developed, as well as a whole lot of what ifs. What if this goes wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? You're putting together a bit of a plan so you can execute the perfect race, even if something goes wrong. There's a link in the description. You can just download that form, spend 20 minutes, just nice quiet time, writing down your answers. The other thing I recommend you do is breaking the race into chunks. Whether you're breaking it into those 7K chunks that I mentioned for the 1/3 pacing strategy, or whether you maybe even break it into 5K or 1 kilometer chunks. 1 kilometers tend to be a bit too short because then you've got to count 21 of them throughout the event. 5 kilometers is fine because you only need to count to 4. That's still in one hand, makes it easy for people like me. And it allows you to have a focus, something to focus on for each of those blocks or chunks. Also want you to use mantras or visualizations, particularly visualizations prior to event day, especially once you've developed your race plan. Visualize what it's going to be like finishing, looking up at that clock and seeing that sub 2 hours, or 1:59 or 1:29 or whatever your goal is. Mantras, it's just like a mental saying that you utilize when the going gets tough. The tough get going is a very common one. I use that often myself. Nutrition and hydration. So on the day at all the aid stations, they're going to have GOO electrolyte drink. If your energy starts getting low, use it. Whether you're familiar with it from or not, if you're plummeting, get that sugar in and that will lift you up. Plenty of water out on course as well. The weather forecast for next Saturday is looking good. Partially cloudy, a little bit of an easterly wind. It's going to be between 8 degrees and 15 degrees. Nice cool start, building into a beautiful day. Couldn't be better running conditions. So tick through, grab yourself a little bit of something every aid station, keep moving forward towards that finish line. Go have a great race. Race morning, a few things you need to get sorted out. Make sure you've got your running shoes, your cap, your sunglasses, your race number, as well as maybe some warm layers for your warm-up. There is a bag drop at the race, so make sure you drop your gear off and you can get that nice and easily at the finish line. The first wave for the half marathon starts at 8:20, so make sure you're on the start line in good position by about 8:15, especially if you're in that first wave. Those of you that have got a fast goal that you're really trying to hit, get a thorough warm-up done before getting to the start line. Those of you with more recreational goals, a basic warm-up, going for a 10-minute jog and using those first few kilometers to build into things is going to be ample warm-up for you. My final comment about race morning is there will be queues for the toilets. Make sure you go early and you don't overhydrate in the lead up to it. So just a little and often, empty that bladder nice and early, and then get through on the start line having warmed up appropriately for your goals by about 8:15. With the final few kilometers and finishing strong, dig deep for those last 2 to 3 kilometers as you're going around the mountain. Give it everything you've got with that final kilometer, sort of as you hit. Um, it's sort of hard to explain, but when you get out and hit, I want to say the Pacific Ocean, but Bay of Plenty, you're not with the channel. It's you're getting out and you've got that full ocean there. That's about 1K to go. Give it everything you've got from that point onwards, and use those aid stations and public toilets that I mentioned before as your reference points for roughly those 1/3 markers. So 1/3 being 7 kilometers in, being the public toilets after the second aid station before turning down Yale Street. And then the 14 kilometers, that's the fifth aid station near Clyde Street. So, all the best for this weekend. Go out there, smash it, have an amazing race. And if you want to smash your next half as well, I've got a few options there for you. I've got my Project 2, my Project 150, my Project 140, and my Project 130, depending on what goals you want to achieve. These are specific programs to help you prepare for a half marathon over 10 or 20 weeks, depending on how you go on the weekend, to fit in with one of those programs. I've also got strength training plans to complement your run training. My Run Strong, Build Strength for faster, more efficient running has a number of options. My most popular one is my 12-week with 3 gym sessions, but there are longer ones out to 24 weeks where you get a more long-term build up and benefit from that strength training, help you keep you injury free, help you build that running strength in the gym, keeping yourself off your legs. It's totally separate from that aerobic conditioning you get from your run training. Also got our 12-week training plan to join the Qwik Kiwi squad for the Queenstown Half Marathon. If you're coming down to the South Island for that, that starts on Monday the 14th. Click the links down below for this to join any of those training plans, whether we're talking the project series, the Run Strong, or the Qwik Kiwi squad for the Queenstown Half. If you want something a little bit more personalized, send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm nice and easy to find at coach_ray_NZ, and on email coachray@coachray.nz. I've got a range of options to help build your fitness in time for your half marathon, regardless of what that is and what your goals are.